Hi all, welcome to educators.com. I'm Harish, a software engineer. In this session, we will learn about forin loop, forof loop, and different keywords like break, continue, and label statement. So by end of this session, you should be able to understand how to use this for in and off loops and the keywords like break, continue, and label statements. So coming to forin loop, unlike this for while and do while loops, this loop is used when we want to iterate through the properties of an object. We can't iterate through the properties of an object using this for while and do while. To iterate through the properties of an object, we can use this for in loop. Let's say I have in this example, I declared a sample object with two properties, first name and last name. I want to print the values of these properties using the for in loop. So the syntax here is first I declared a keyword var, then var name in sample. So name is refers to the each property. So for each and every loop it differs to from one current property to next property. At first it refers to the first name and in the next loop it refers to the last name. Okay. So a name in sample, this means we are defining that for where this property in this object. So name denotes a key of the property. There is key as the object contains the property in terms of the key and value. So the name denotes the key value, whereas the sample of name denotes the value of that key. So this is how we use the for in loop. Coming to forof loop. This loop is used to loop through the objects like array. When we use forin on array, it will return the index, whereas the forof will return the actual value at a given index. To iterate through the values of an array, we can use for, while, or do while. But the difference is we need to check like array of, let's say I declared a var numbers equal to 1 to 10. So to get the value of an to get the value with it in an array at a specified index, so I need to check like numbers of 0 or numbers of 1 to get it printed each and every time. So instead of doing that, we can use forof. Here I declared a array saying 1 2 3 4. So if I use var index in array, it will give me the index values, whereas if I use for var array value of array, it will give me the actual values within that index of that array. So it's a major difference of using forin and forof. So coming to break statement. The break statement can be used in conjunction with label to break out of a switch, loop, or nested loop. So the syntax is break label. Here label can be optional. You can specify directly break or break some label statement. We'll be looking in about this label statement in coming slides. So here in this example, I'll declare a loop saying count equals 0 and count should be less than equal 10 and count plus plus. If any number is divisible by 2, then I want to break out of the loop. This means let's say count value becomes 0. If 0 is divided by 2, then it breaks out of the loop. So to break out of the loop, we can use this break statement. As we can also use in switch case. Here in the down, I'm getting the actual value of the current day, actual day of the current date. So it will return the values in terms of 0, 1, 2, and 3, so on. So let's say if the case is 0, I want to mark the day as Sunday, and I want to break out of this switch statement. If I don't use this break statement within the switch, it will start executing the next cases. So this will happen from the matching case onwards. If you don't use break statement, let's say if it matches at case 0, then we'll start executing case 1, and then case 2 and case 3 and so on. If it starts from match at case 1, it will start executing 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. So that's the reason to have a break at each and every case, we need to use this break statement within the switch case. So coming to continue. The continue statement is used to restart a loop. This means whenever I want to skip the next lines of code based on some condition, I can use the continue. So the syntax is continue label, which is an optional. You can specify directly continue or continue with the label statement. Here, let's say I want to print only odd numbers. Let's say count equal to 0 and count should be less than 10 and count plus plus. So the loop runs from 0 to 9. Here, if count is divisible by 2, I don't want to print that value. So when I use this continue statement, it will restart the loop and it will skip the execution of this log. So the break difference is the break is used to come out of the loop, whereas the continue is used to restart the loop. So coming to label statement, the label statement is used to define a line of code or a loop, etc. We can use a break to come out of the loop or jump to a specific line using label statement. Here is the syntax label and the statement label name. Example, here I declared a nested array, and here I declared a label statement with a for loop. So when I use break, label break, it will break out of this label statement. So if the value is divisible by 2, it will break out of this label statement and will continue execution from next line. So this is the main important reason between the break and the label break. Check with forin loop, which is used to iterate through the properties of an object. So let's declare an object with properties called first name, and then last name with Smith. Let's declare a variable. And this is not required to do. So let's print the values, then document dot write name. Let's do this as key, and then the value. So here you can check the key. It says the key as first name with value as Will, and then key with as last name with the value as Smith. So here the forin is used to iterate through the properties of an object. So let's check with the forof loop. Let's declare an array with values as 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's first use the forin loop. So here when you use the foreign over the array, it prints the index. So when I use, but when I use the forof, here it prints the actual values. So that's the main difference between using foreign over and forof over an array. Now let's check with the break statement. Let's declare a count variable, and then let's have a for loop, and then let's break it out of this for loop when the count is 3. Let's print and document write the value, count value. Let's print the count value. So here it prints till 2, as when it encounters 3, it breaks out of the loop. It won't run after the break statement. I mean after the break has been executed. So this of using the continue, sorry, break. Now let's check with continue. Let's declare a for loop, let's have a condition saying if count is equal to 3, continue. Let's print the values count. So here it prints as 0, 1, 2, 4. As here when it encounters 3, I'm saying continue. This means it will skip the remaining statements execution. So the continue is used to restart the loop, whereas the break is being used to come out of the loop. Now let's check with the label break. Here let's declare a variable with value 0 and then an outermost. So let's declare a label statement, outermost with the for loop where I equals 0, I should be less than 10, I plus plus, and a nested loop. And let's have a condition saying if I equals to 5 and j equals to 5, break out of this label statement. Let's increment the number variable and let's print the complete count, sum of count of this number total count. Here it says the total count as 5. As the loop will run 10 times, I mean, like here the loop is say we have declared the first for loop with values I equal to 0 and then it I less than 10. This means it will run as 10 times. And the nested loop also runs 10 times. So when I declare this num plus plus outside the for loop, I mean nested for loop, that means within the first parent loop, it is saying as 5. As here I've been mentioned that if I equal to 5 and j equal to 5, let's break out of the loop. Here I forgot to have this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So let's print this value within the nested for loop and check what's output. So here it says as 55. So this value will be incremented till it finds the I with value is 5 and j with value is 5. So it will, here we are measuring as break out of this label statement called outermost. So when you use simply break, it will break out of the first loop itself. But when you use label break, it will break out of the nested loops. So this is all from this session. Thank you.